she continues to push herself, her technology, her equipment. I mean, I think we've had a huge surge in all of that. The quality, the level of content that's being put out. And same, Sandy's done originally did majority of the content, and she's continued to grow and use techniques, and then she falls in love with making comics out of everybody. And next thing you know, there's a flurry of of us in comics.
Yeah, I was. That's what I was thinking about.
Yep. So they're continually, both of them are continually pushing for new ideas, new ways of adding value and adding something of interest, and then taking old content and repurposing it as well. Because you can do a lot of stuff. This is a yeah. I think fundamentally in every way, this year changes us completely as people in a company. I'm convinced of that. I haven't felt this way in a long time, and we've had great years. This year is different. There's something very different about it.
Are you having to work with new people this summer versus previous summers for the workload on your team, or no?
Mm-mm.
No?
No, as a matter of fact, we are not going to hire another person, I don't think. We have everybody, plus a few that have been here before, coming back. Yep, but our team will stayed fully intact this year. That's probably the first year. It is, I think, that it's fully intact from what it was.
When you're on a job, does everybody bring a bag lunch? Do you have the catering trucks come by?
Yeah.
Or?
No, that's really the beauty of working with girls. They pre-think that all out. They all come preset with everything they need, and so it's food, it's extra food, it's waters. They always have ice, and so it's usually a one-stop shop. That's why we've also gone to always having a porta potty on site, so you don't have to leave. Because in the past, when you had boys, you can't have them running behind the tree every little while, and no one ever thought of a porta potty. Instead, they'd run to the local gas station, where that's another 10 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes of production. So they come prepared every single time. And because the girls do, it forces the boys to, because now the boys can't leave. So the boys have gotten into the habit of having lunches. They'll always pack extra. The interesting thing, it's strange, but even like in the vehicles, there's always extra stuff. You'll find extra waters. You'll find they'll raid the steampunk and grab all the snacks out of it, not to eat but to have. So when someone needs something to eat, Katie used to always bring food for me. Kaylee's been amazing with always there's enough extra for me. They've thought about me all the time. Jesse all the time, even Karen for that matter. I never have to think about food because they always have it. I don't ever have to think about a drink because, here's an extra this or an extra that. So from that standpoint too, it's really kind of cool.
Very cool.
Unlike a typical construction situation.
Right.
Very unlike, but they're working autonomously as a bit of a team. So on the way there, if someone needs something, they stop and get what they need, instead of getting to the job and going, I should have had something to drink, and then having to leave, which is what boys do. Girls don't do that. They got up a half an hour early because they're going to, comb their hair at least. Boys don't. So in the process of doing that, they also think about what they need, be prepared, or they're ready the night before, and they sleep in their clothes. That's happened a few times, but it's a little bit different world.
So you could always bring some tents out.
I imagine it's probably there's probably going to be something like that. They're in. Yeah. This one, she's a rough it. She'll go anywhere, do anything, sleep anywhere, or not sleep. She'll just work through the night half the time. Yeah, we have a school bus that we haven't built out the inside, but we've thought about having that as sort of a resting area and have a refrigerator and whatever in there. So likely by then the bus will be up and running, so we might be pulling that into your yard, along with all of our other line of tools we're going to bring out there. So do you use a lot of bluestone? Is that what you do a lot of your pool? Yes. The reason being is it's the best natural material that feels comfortable.
Okay.
So there's all kinds of different flagstone materials, but two things happen. They flake, number one, but most importantly, the rough on the edge, because it's just broken stone. what they do with the tumbled bluestone. Now they make slabs of bluestone that are rough on the edge, but the stuff that we use the most of is tumbled. So they basically take it and tumble it in a big old washing machine, kind of, or a dryer, so that it breaks off the edges, so you don't have those sharp edges. Because short of that, you have to go to man-made materials or man-cut materials, which are okay, but it doesn't have the same soft feel. That's why it ends up being bluestone, and that tends to work with a lot of different colors.
Now, have you figured out what part is going to be vinyl versus gunite?
I do. I'm 90% convinced on how I'm going to do it. I have one more possibility.
That is 100% likely to change at any moment.
Yeah, so good point. I'm 90% sure what I'm going to do, which is not at all.
I'm just trying to get into your head a
Yeah,
little bit.
thank you. So there's two more options that I had not thought about. We talked about doing gunite and then eco finish. That was what I've been in my head all along. But since the Canada show, there's a guy in Canada that we've become friends with that does a lot of really interesting things. He's not a builder, but he does a lot of custom liner stuff for people. We got to talking to him about, there's, in the last probably 10 years, a company out of France brought a product to the US. It's like a heavy reinforced vinyl that's welded on site. It's like roofing. I don't know if you've ever seen the single ply roofing. We did that way back when I worked for the original pool company. He had a roofing company, and in the winter we did these single ply roofs, which I learned to weld anyway. Well, now they make those in variable color materials to be able to use for pools.
Wow.
So that really intrigues me, number one, because I've done it and I know exactly how it works and I know how efficient it is. So that might be another possibility, is still doing a gunite or concrete wall and floor and then lining it with that kind of weld in place vinyl. I'm kind of leaning to that one right now because of its durability and its ease of repair.
And you can seam it on the floor.
You can
of the pool?
you can seam it on the floor as well. Yeah, and the marrying it to the liner would be easy. So I'm really liking that because of the length of the river, and this is kind of the mental part. Because of the length of the river, any movements that could happen or anything could potentially cause leaks if we just used a normal plaster finish, and I don't want that. With an additional vinyl surface, there's that flex point, so you have this big, massive, strong structure, but then you have this stretchability and this flexibility that would, because especially one of those walls is exposed to the weather. So now here's the added part of the engineering is you drain the pool, the lazy river down partway during the winter like you do the pool, but now as it freezes, there's wind blowing on that wall. You're not just freezing the surface of the water like you are the pool, you're now freezing the surface and down the face of that wall. So as the surface is freezing, it's freezing back as well. That creates a whole different set of pressures on those walls. That's why if having something flexible gives you that little bit, because it's not like concrete moves this much, it moves this much, but it moves.
Right.
So that's been kind of the most popular for me right now. Then there's another one though. There's some really good epoxy finishes now that get rolled on and troweled on that are super strong but elastic. And I've thought about that one, not as much, but we talked to a woman in Atlantic City that I'm going to have her send me some so I can play with. And it's literally you still plaster the pool or the thing, and then you do this roll-on epoxy coating. So we're kind of into three. Yeah, 90% of that we still have three major options to go with, and I haven't decided on any one of them yet.
So Al, do you have another model for me yet?
Nothing yet, because I'm still trying to build it in my head, but you're going to get another one.
Already yet, but is trying to find out. I'm getting
He's trying to
find out what his pool is going to be like.
Yeah. Just wait and see, Buster. Wait and see.
All of his questions are very leading.
I know they are, aren't they? Well, exactly what is this going to be?
I'm on you, bud.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, and the teasing part, like, are we doing a good job of that?
We had someone come up here yesterday and say, "Are you ever going to publish the third model?" Because if you remember, with the pirate thing, we had Bob eating the model before they got to see it, and then we did 2 other scenarios. One of them I was taking pictures of in the parking lot. She runs the model over, and then there's a third one that he either missed or something, but he was asking, well, I always wondered what the other model. He may have, but remember the one I finally got sick and I threw it over the fence.
Hey, remember that one you brought out to me and the dog had knocked some trees over?
Yeah. Now that one's gone and we'll start over.
No, Vera's so good at gluing that she glued
them back on. That's awesome. I'll have to come up with some new figures. We're gonna have to put some additional figures.
That's sitting
on
right
there.
on top of my sock drawer.
That's well, that's good. You see it every morning.
I see it every time
morning,
I
or
get
every
in my
time you
sock
change your
drawer.
socks. Maybe not every morning, but you can change your socks.
Appreciated where my art project ended up. It matched.
Oh yeah, centerpiece.
Oh, and
right?
I like the look of the sign for the front.
Is that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I
mean,
like
if
it.
you had any suggestions,
Yeah. No, I can work with that.
okay.
Can do
Probably
a little.
Get that
I think
up as soon as the ground
as
breaks.
you could
We'll put
do
it up
that.
there and
Then we
everybody-
could embellish it. We'll do a little bit of embellishment around it or something. Yeah.